everybody gets data from different places. And so connect streaming software to go live. It's not letting me go live on Instagram. Oh, there we go. So again, some people are going to say Vulcan 7 is the best. Some people are going to say it's Mojo. Some people are going to say it's Red X. Everybody's got different prices. Cody says Mojo, but data differs from different locations. So don't get stuck up on one or the other. Get stuck up on what works in your market. So if you're getting a bunch of bad information, then don't use it because that's not going to work for you. Everybody see the screen? Everybody see the screen? Yes, yes. If you guys are on Facebook or Instagram, or YouTube right now, you probably won't be able to see the screen, unfortunately. So you have to send us a message and we can get you this later. So master the skills, close with confidence, right? Who here has called expireds in the past? Give me a raise of hands. Easy or hard? Hard. Why is it hard? Why is it hard?
I don't trust people.
I don't trust people. Okay. They're upset. Okay. What else?
Don't know what to say.
Sean says, I don't know what to say, which is probably what makes them not trust people and which makes it hard. Right, Sean?
Right.
Because would most of us probably assume that everybody's using a similar playbook? So let's get into a little bit of what to do, what not to do before we actually get into the tactics. Is that okay? If we do that, y'all, so that you have a better understanding. Okay. So expireds are actually the easiest place to find money. They've demonstrated that they were willing to take action. They've demonstrated that they're willing to go through the process. They've demonstrated that they have something there, right? They're actually the highest converting out of all people we don't know outside of an open house. Did you guys know that? Who knew that? That expireds convert higher than all other lead sources outside of an open house. Like, doesn't it, right? It makes a lot of sense. That's why I loved expireds. But here's the thing. Most agents have a broken conversation loop, right? There's a broken feedback loop, right? Most agents, when they're booking expireds, right, they're operating from a place of talking to what? When people are calling expireds, what do you think they're operationally coming from? They're coming from how they would talk to a referral. Like, have you guys ever thought about that? Like, if you talk to a referral the same way you talk to an expired, is that a break in communication? Put in the chat, one for yes and one for hell yes. Yeah. The other thing is that most agents have a broken process. And when I say broken process, think about it. Let me show you. I'll go through it a little bit more. Do most agents tell lies to get listings? It's not always intentional, but if you're not telling the truth, are you telling a lie? If you're not having the difficult conversation that you know you need to have, right? If you're not having the difficult conversation that you know you need to have in order for that person to make the right choice, is that not somewhat of a lie? Right? It's not intentional. It's not like they set out to lie to the person. But if you know that the price range should be $1 million to $1.05 million, and you take a listing at $1.2 million, and you're like, well, I think we can get that price. Is that a lie? So the reason why properties come back to the market is because agents have poor pricing strategies, right? They have lazy marketing. Who here's seen a listing where you're like, how did you not declutter that house? How did you figure to take an angle of the corner with mold in it? Sorry, I have mold in my apartment right now that they're fixing, and it's driving me crazy. The quality of workers that are showing up to my house in the middle of the day that are telling me that the mold came from the shower because there's steam in the shower and not the wall that's leaking. Do most agents have a weak feedback loop? Right? Do most agents, when a seller says, well, what's the feedback? Oh, they love the house. Oh, everybody said the house is great. Then why don't we have offers? Yes or yes? Are most agents just sticking the house on the MLS and hoping and praying a buyer shows up? Even agents that are good get lazy. A lot of the expired listings that I picked up were from top agents, actually. Agents that were doing $100 million plus a year. And this is back in 2013 and 14. Oh, I'm talking pre-COVID, homie. I'm talking 2014, 2015, 2016. Y'all didn't even know what those markets were like. Those are good markets in Seattle. So how come houses didn't sell? Are a lot of agents more reactive than proactive? Right? Do a lot of agents sound like a used car salesperson? I just happen to have I'm the best. This is the right house. This is perfect for you. You got their name, phone number, and that they're looking for a 4-bedroom, 3-bed house in the neighborhood you happen to be selling in, and this is the perfect house for the person. Is that not a little salesy? Oh my God, let me tell you how great the home is. That's the average agent at an open house. Let me tell you how great oh my God, let me tell you about this. Let me tell you about that. Oh my God, this is so great. Who cares about what you like about the property? Oh my God, it's so close to the trails. You know what I hear when a house is close to trails? You know what I hear when I hear a house is close to trails? Oh my God, who can get into my backyard easily? But you don't think about that. Why? Because you're being reactive instead of proactive. You're being unstrategic. We don't ask the questions. So then the house sits and sits and sits. And what happens to the seller? Are they really excited that their house is sitting? Because what did they think was going to happen when they put that for sale sign in their yard? What did they think was going to happen? House was going to what? It's the greatest house in the history of houses. This is the best house in the world. There's no way we can't get $2 billion for it. And here's the problem. Here's the problem. Oh, it's not playing in the TikTok frame. Why not? Why is this not playing? Oh, where's the sound at? Ah!
There's a difference between a salesperson and a consultant. A salesperson only thinks about his or herself, such as, for example, commission. I only want to make more money, that's it. While the consultant, they think of your benefit, they give you the bad and the good. They sit down and explain to you and basically guide you through the whole process. You will know interest. Which one do you want on your side? Give us now.
Wait, what did she say at the end? A consultant does what? Put it in the chat. A consultant does what? What does a consultant do? What does a consultant do, y'all? Before that, Terry, she said, what? You guys missed the stuff you don't want to do. Started with an S. You're all doing it right now. You're all doing it right now. Every single one of you is doing it right now. You're sitting down, right? A consultant sits down to guide you through the process. Sits down to advise you through the process. Because a consultant, right, an advisor consults you before something's going to happen so you're prepared for when it does happen. A salesperson, used car salesperson, they take you through the process as you're going through the process. And then when things break, you're reacting instead of being proactive. Yes, yes. So here's the reason why houses don't sell. And we have to understand this because if you want to be good at expired listings, you have to know how to do these things because you have to come from the mindset of the prospect. Where are my car people at? What's this person doing right now? Where are my car people at? Just unmute yourself. Who's a car person? That didn't sound safe. What's this person doing right now?
Diagnostics.
He's doing a diagnostics. What's this person doing?
Looking, troubleshooting.
Repairing, right? Before we do work, we need to diagnose. Before we prescribe, we got to diagnose. So step one is we're diagnosing, right? So we're plugging into the mainframe. The mainframe here happens to be your prospect, and we are now fixing the problem. Most people never do a good diagnostic, so they don't know what the problem is that they're solving for. So here's why expireds die, right? You guys already commented below, so we're going to do it. Lazy marketing, poorly priced, weak showing feedback, just another MLS, reactive agents, no strategy. But here's the real reason why. All right, here's the real reason why. It's because your presentation sucks. The reason why houses go on the market and they're overpriced is not because the seller, is because of you. Because who here's ever taken who here's ever been the second person to list a home and that person came down to a reasonable price after your conversation? Anybody? Who here has ever been the second person to list a home and the seller still unreasonably priced and you still take the listing? I, guilty as charged. Who here's taken a listing and you listed it for the same price as what it was before, but you repositioned it to the market and it's sold with multiple offers? A couple of us. Whose responsibility is it to make sure that the prospect knows that what they're doing is going to be detrimental to the actual outcome, their overarching goal? Yours, not us. It's mine. It's my responsibility, right? And our market's shifting right now. Who's in a market that's kind of softening for sellers at the moment? A lot of people's hands went up. If I asked you this question last year, not a single hand would have gone up. Maybe one hand would have gone up. Now it's 50% of the market. Which means if your presentation sucks, what's going to happen? Because I'll tell you a secret. Everybody talks about wanting to get expired listings. But what happens when you are the expired listing? That sucks, doesn't it? So let's prevent those and work on our presentations, right? But Vic, that's not what we came here for. Well, it is. Because if you book appointments, but you can't get them to convert with you at a price that makes sense, a price range that makes sense, what's going to happen in 90 days to that listing? Right. And is that what you want for yourselves? And in a shifting market, because a lot of you are first time in a slower market. A lot of you are COVID babies, or you came right before COVID, right? 5-6 years ago. And we've never seen a slow market. And slow markets are hard because you got to actually work to get the seller, and then you got to work to get the buyer. And it takes more time to do exactly what you did the year before. More effort, more energy. Oh, and guess what? You have to be a lot better because the sellers know the market's soft. They're not going to admit it. They know the market's softening. So what does that mean you have to do? It means that your ability to communicate or your inability to communicate is 100 times more important. And most people will just blame the market. But I tell you, this is where top agents are made. This is the time that this is called top agent season, because those that do will crush in any market. And those that don't, well, when the market picks up, they're going to say the market got better. They're going to say they got better, but it was just the market that rised, and they just happened to catch a couple of peaches that fell off the tree. So here's your format. All right. Here's the format. I love that it says bullet points in there. 1, trust. You have to acknowledge their frustration. First thing we have to do is we have to find a way to acknowledge the prospect's frustration. Number 2 is we have to reconnect them with their overarching goal, or what we call the why. Number 3 is we have to give them an insight, not a pitch, but an insight. Number 4, we have to lead them to a consult, not a hard close. Please don't say on the phone, you guys, please. I know that if you're a guest here, this might be the first time you're hearing some of this stuff. But has anybody seen a script that says you're the number one agent in the neighborhood? You're a neighborhood expert. Are you all neighborhood experts in every neighborhood you call in? Are you the number one agent? Are you a top agent? Y'all, it's so much incongruency with what we're told to say and what actually happens. By the way, do y'all think that same script that's been around for 20 years has been told to this prospect 900 times by the time you get a hold of them? Markowitz. All right. Ollie. They hear the same crap over and over and over again, don't they? And so if you say the same thing that they say, that you're the top agent, you have the best strategy, you're number one, do you think that's going to set you apart from anybody? No. Coming in super professional, like they smell you from a mile away. And what happens when they smell that? Do they get excited that another agent's calling them, or do they run? What do y'all think they do? What would you do if you used some of the stuff that you were shown in the past? Isn't it funny? Like, we don't put ourselves in the person's shoes that we're talking to. So number 1, are these people happy or sad currently? For the most part. Happy or sad in the chat? Sad. Are they frustrated? Are they excited? Lots of yeses. So frustrated, not excited. Are they exhausted? Are they now being harassed by a bunch of agents that claim to be the best, Are they being lied to where buyers or agents are saying they have buyers when the property just came off the market an hour ago? Lots of yeses coming through here, right? So let's fix that problem. Let's first think about acknowledge their frustrations, right? So trust-based opener. Hey, I know your phone's probably a war zone since the listing came off the market. Embarrassed, right? Grief and shame, power versus force. Remember the training we did a couple weeks ago? Power versus force, right? Where are they sitting at on the range of power versus force? Well, they're in grief and shame, embarrassment. Maybe they're having arguments with their spouse because it's like, well, I told you we shouldn't have picked that agent. I told you we should have sold last year. Do y'all think that that happens in households? I told you you were trying to do something and now look at it. We're fucking stuck because of you. Y'all think that happens in households? I'll tell you it does. Oh, I'll tell you it does. We did over $150 million in expireds, and I could tell you some of the stuff that I heard afterwards made my heart hurt. Vic, thank you so much. You saved our marriage. What? I sold your house. No, like literally, you saved our marriage. Why? We were fighting every day for the last 4 months. Why? Because she didn't want me to use the agent that I picked. I picked the one because I was a friend of a friend. And, you know, I just heard every day, I told you so, I told you so, I told you. I couldn't handle it anymore. I wasn't even at home for a week towards the end. I just went on a vacation. I told her I'm going on a boys trip. I just went to a hotel out of town and got away. Like, really? People are in financial ruin. They don't tell their spouse. And then you sit down with them, you go, so we want $3 million. Whew. I get what you want. What do you need? Hey, Vic, can you walk with me over to the side of the house? I want to show you something to get your opinion because this kept coming up with the realtor. Honey, I'll be back in a second. Can you make us some tea? Okay. Walk to this. Bro, I am upside down in Schitt's Creek. I'm sorry. What am I looking at right now? I am upside down. I haven't done X, Y, and Z. I have loans that are being called on. I have to sell this house. But I can't say anything in front of my wife because, you know, she's going to leave me. You know, what? So like, listen to my tonality when I call somebody. Ring, ring. Hey, I know your phones have probably been a war zone since the listing came out. Do you hear the pace that I'm talking? Do you hear the energy? And guess what? Are we acknowledging the truth that their phones are probably blowing up? Right? Is there any curiosity in my voice, or is that more of a statement that I know is almost going to always be true? So, hey, I know your phones are probably ringing off the charts right now with agents saying that they have a buyer and they're the number one agent in the marketplace. Is that true? Oh my God, how'd you know? Because agents are like cockroaches, and the minute they see an opportunity, they pounce. I'd write that shit down because it works. I'd write that one down. It works. But do you hear how the delivery is? Right? I have fun. Y'all, I'm having fun here. I'm like, ring, ring. Hey, Ryan? Yeah. Hey, man, what's up, dude? I am a realtor, but I bet you your phones are reeling off the charts. I bet you feel like you're a dumpster that just had fresh Chinese food thrown in it. And there's all these cockroach realtors calling you right now, right? Oh my God, how'd you know? And they're probably all saying the same line. They have a buyer, right? They're the number one agent in town. Their neighbor. Oh my God. They all say the same things. Hey, I'm going to keep this under 30 seconds, or you could just hang up now, whatever is cool with you. But I work in helping frustrated sellers like you, it sounds like. One, get your phone to stop ringing again. And two, like figure out what went wrong and put a place, like a smart plan in place. I mean, even if you decide you're not sure about reselling the house, I guess, is it okay if I ask you, like, what was your original game plan around moving? By the way, I tested that out this morning on Louisa, and she's like, I'd give you 30 seconds. I'm like, why? She's like, well, it's only 30 seconds. And then she was going to go and answer a question for 4.5 minutes after she logically knew what I was doing. Why? Because the brain can't separate the two. But if you call and you're like, hi, Ryan, I know your phone's probably been a war zone and that these cockroaches realtors keep calling you, and you'd probably rather shoot yourself than talk to another agent now that your home's off the market. I'm the number one realtor in the neighborhood. And is that how agents sound? Number two. Ring, ring. Hi, my name. It's probably worse. Ring, ring. Hi, my name is Vikram. I'm the number one agent in town. I help specialize in selling homes just like yours. When can I come over and show you my 32-point marketing plan? Click. Y'all, I'm telling you, these people want help. They need help. They want help. But what don't they want? Another dishonest person, another processless pony roaming in the fields. Module 5, the ultimate appointment booking formula. I'm telling you, if you go through that and you learn how to implement that into your business, you will have a listing process that crushes 99% of the agents in your marketplace, and listings become a joke. Appointments become a joke. Why? Because you just know with certainty when you walk in, you're going to crush it. But what happens if we book an appointment and we go for a tour of the house and they've had 9 other agents that have walked through the house on a tour? What do you think those 9 other agents did? What do you think those 9 other agents did when they stepped into the house? Oh, such a beautiful home. Oh my God. This is the greatest thing since Kraft macaroni and cheese ruined the health of Americans. Oh God, help me. Let's go take a tour. And you've already lumped yourself into a commodity. And you've done the exact same thing as everybody else. So even if you don't want to do expired, like you still got a process that you got to work on, right? Because presentation's super hard. So now the overarching goal, you can go 2 places, right? We're going from surface to pain. Right now, we can either talk about the moving pain or we could talk about the home sales process pain. All right. So I'm going to give you guys some pointers here. Your standard kind of questions. Tell me more about blank. What was important about that for you? Is that still the long-term plan, or have things shifted since the home didn't sell? The last question's really crucial. Why is that last question really crucial? Anybody? Is that still the long-term plan, or have things kind of like shifted for you guys since the home didn't sell? Because what's in their head right now? Dennis, you're 100%, brother. It's the motivation, but what's in their head right now? What do you think these people are thinking about right now? They know it failed to sell. Nope, they're not worried about how much they can get right now. They're thinking, is it even worth moving and going through the headache again, or should we just figure out how to make this house work? So psychologically, what have I done that everybody else, because this is what everybody else thinks. If we could talk about motivation, the failed sale, all that, then we could probably win the deal. But if you want to play the psychology game, you have to get into their head. So when you're in their head, you can get in their bed. Did I just make a dating analogy around sex? Oh my God, Vikram, shame on you. You guys have fun. This one, my friend. Shh. So is that still the long-term plan, or have things kind of shifted now that the home didn't sell? Well, we're not quite sure, right? What do they say here? You got to be prepared for what they're going to say. They're going to say, yes, it's still the long-term plan, but we put it on hold. We're not sure yet because X, Y, and Z. Maybe it just depends on A, B, and C. And then we have to attack the hill, right? Well, how long have you guys, here's some more questions. Now, you're not going to ask these are not sequenced, right? Because expired scripts are not sequences. They're more of understanding. All right. So other questions you can ask to go from surface to deep is, well, how long y'all been thinking about, right? What was the one that you had, Ryan, yesterday we reviewed? It was getting to the shore. How long y'all been thinking about getting to the shore for? What was important about that for you? So by not getting the right buyer you'd hoped for and not getting to blank, does that have any impact on y'all? You guys' house was on the market for what, 4 months? If their house was on the market for 3, what are you going to say? This is an advanced one. If their house was on the market for 3 months and you want to say how long their house was on the market, how long are you going to say the house was on the market for? Let's see. Let's see who's got this one. What else we got?
Before you had a price change.
So you guys had the house on the market for like what? Just like a month or two? What are they going to do now? What are they going to do now? Hey, your house was on the market for like 6 months, right? No. It was only on the market for 3. It was only on the market for 3. They're going to go downplay it. You guys' house, your guys' house wasn't even on the market for that long. Is what, a month or two? Well, no, it was on the market for like 4 months. Oh, really? That long? And now you, with your tonality, right, Joel? Now you get to upplay that it was on the market for a long time, and they're also thinking it was on the market for a long time. So what'd you guys list the house for? Like, you guys really weren't on the market that long. What, a month or two? No, we were on the market for like 4 months. 4 months? Oh. 4 months? Oh. And now that leads you into the pain process around the house, not selling, right? Around the agent's whatever plan that they use. So now the questions you are going to go down with that are going to be like, so did your agent have any feedback at all for you? Or was it just kind of like the standard everyone liked the home? When you say this, FYI, I'll write this down. When you asked them if it was a standard, did everybody like the home? And that's what actually happened. Does that make you the expert? Think about when you take your car to the mechanic, right? And you come in and the brakes are squeaking and the mechanic looks at is this a 19, sorry, showing my age. Is this a 2023 5 Series? Yeah. And is this the 540 model? I think so. I'm not really sure. Okay. And have the brakes been squeaking for about the last 60 days? Yeah, they have been. How'd you know? Okay. Yeah. On this model, what's pretty standard with the brakes, you've had it for what, 3 years now? Yep. Average about 30-ish thousand miles. Yep. Yeah, typically this is what happens with the brakes. Let me just pop my head in here real quick and look. You said this noise has been going on for a couple months now? Yep. And it only happens when you're doing X, Y, and Z? Yep. Every time they say yep, what is the person on the other end of the conversation? What happens to their level of trust, up or down? Why is it all up? Why is nobody disagreeing with me? Why doesn't anybody disagree?
Building trust.
Well, we know we're building trust, but why is it? So we need to go deeper, y'all, with our thoughts. We know we're building the trust, but the question is we know what's happening. It's why is that happening? Why is it that when you, as the mechanic, know what's problematic with the car, the person has more trust with you because you've seen it before, because you're showing your expertise, which means that you don't have to say you're number one. You're demonstrating your knowledge of what happens in the marketplace, showing that you know what happens. When you're in their head, they're like, oh my God, how did you know that? Because we help people just like you all the time. And we study what happens. And so that's why when you guys ask the question, but do you see how it's not a statement? So did your agent give you like any feed, or was it just kind of the standard, everyone liked your home? Now, if I make that a statement, yeah, what we find is most agents just give standard feedback. The prospect doesn't have an opportunity to engage. And you need the engagement in order for it to be the prospect telling you their problem, not you telling the prospect their problem. Because who owns the problem here? The prospect. If you dictate to the prospect what's happening, who owns the problem? You do. And they lump you into the other agents. How many offers did you guys, 4 months, man, that's a long time. How many offers did you guys receive in that time frame? Would you say your agent was more like proactive? Remember, whatever you say second is what sticks longer. Would you say your agent was more proactive, or were they more like reactive? Did you guys hear how I said that? So would you say your agent was more proactive? Watch the hands. I got to stand up for you. Let's stand up for y'all. Let's see. Let's see. Okay. It's important that we watch the hands. Body language is so important. How many of y'all sit down when you prospect? How many of you guys should start standing up when you prospect? Try it out. Try it out. Try it out. I personally, I would walk around personally. Why? Because prospecting on the phone is, you're just get in the flow. All right. So would you say that your agent was more like proactive, or were they more like reactive? Would you say your agent's more like proactive when it came to like marketing, feedback, staying ahead of the market? Or were they more like reactive? Like you kind of had to chase them down for answers. You kind of had to chase them down for like, what's the next step? Like you had to chase them down to get feedback after the open house. You had to chase them down to get feedback after the showings. Oh, we always chase them down. And when you chase them down, was it just kind of like the standard, typical, everybody liked your house? Or did they actually have like thoughts and feedback where you guys could strategize and come up with a plan? Oh no, it was number one. Got it. Right? Do you guys see, does anybody see why it's so much fun to call expireds? And do you think expired people want to vent? Tell me more about what do you mean by that? They just had that standard feedback. Well, they did this and they did that. And so they were like kind of more reactive or proactive, would you say? Oh no, they were totally reactive. I honestly, between you and me, like, I don't want to say anything bad about them. They're nice people. No. Of course. I mean, everybody's a nice person, but did you hire them to be your best friend, or did you hire them to get your home sold so that you could be in Nantucket closer to your kids? Well, no, we hired them to get to Now we're dropping their overarching goal. Yeah. Well, what happened with them? Tell me more. Well, they didn't do this and they didn't do that. And is that important for you when you guys decide on your next agent? Yeah. Any particular reason why you feel like that would have allowed you to actually get the property sold and, now you'd be closer to your grandkids right now? Well, because of X, Y, and Z, blah, 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 blah. Oh, okay. So in the next agent you choose, is that something that you guys are looking for them to have? Yeah. Any particular reason why you want them to have that? And they're going to elaborate even more on what they want. And now you're going to be able to help to them see, because again, if I don't do something, am I going to talk about something? No, I'm not going to ask questions about it. So you're automatically implying that you do things differently without saying I do things differently. Because if you say you do things differently, do they believe you? No. And what do most agents say when they're calling an expired? Well, we're so what? What do they say? Let me show you. Would you like to see our marketing plan because it's different? Really? No, it's not. The way we do things is so different. Really, how? How do you do things differently? Because that's my question I would ask. And that's what sellers ask, because they've already been burned once and they're more cautious. So tell me, what do you do that's so different? And then if you can't come up with 3 things right out of the gate that makes you different, what do you think happens? Are you lumped into everybody else's and you're just the same? So what are 3 things that you could say that make you actually different than the average agent? Well, yeah. Could you tell me about like how your pricing strategy was? Or were they more of like, hey, let's look at the comparables. And then they kind of said, well, this is the range. And then they just had you pick. Oh, no, that's exactly what they did. Right. Okay. And then when it comes to like the seller universe, right, or the buyer's universe, because there's like buyers we know that are looking, that are like actively looking on the MLS, but then there's the buyers that we don't know, which are kind of in like the pockets of other agents, the pocket of loan officers, right? They're kind of looking, but they're not in a rush. But if the right home came up, they wouldn't even know because they're not actively searching on the MLS. So how did your agent get you in front of those people? Huh? The minute they say, huh, what happens? The minute they say, huh, what happens? You know that their agent never talked about that stuff. And then all you could say is, your agent didn't share the plan of attack with you guys? Do you see how knowing module 5, the buyer and listing presentation, are so crucial to your success? Because you see how I'm dropping the buyer and the listing presentation right into the language of the appointment? Anybody else notice that? I know if you're a guest, you might not understand some of the things, but you're like, oh shit, that's different. That's what you want your prospect to say. Oh, wow, that's different. Y'all, these guys are different. And you don't ever have to say it. That's the best, because they see it and they feel it. And do you hear the amount of confidence we have in our voice? Even if you don't have confidence, steal mine right now. You'll get confidence after you do a couple hundred calls. Yes, I said a couple hundred, right? You'll start to pick up your confidence. You got to do it long enough to get confidence. I mean, it took me a solid 6 months of putting together trial and error before I felt like we had something worthwhile. Like we didn't have like the tools you guys have today. We actually had to do the trial and error, like the old school hard way. Now you guys just get to rip off and duplicate what we're doing, because we did the R&D and we're doing hundreds of calls, right? Hundreds of calls. Insight, right? So, you know, one of the things that we found is that like most people decide not to move either because they didn't find a new suitable home or their agent failed to get them a suitable offer. Does that resonate? You know, one of the things that we found with our clients, just like you, is that they decided not to move because they didn't get the suitable. What am I saying here? What am I saying here? Anybody know what I'm saying here? It's all psychology right here. Why did they decide not to move? Is it because their plans changed? Why did they decide not to move? Because they didn't get what they wanted, or they couldn't find what they needed. But it wasn't because their plans changed. Now, if their plans have changed, they're going to tell me, well, no, actually we decided to move because we decided not to move because, like, we'll just use your example, Ryan. We decided not to move because right now my husband's still working for a year and that commute just doesn't make sense to be at the shore. Tell me more about that. Well, the commute would be an hour each way, and we didn't find the house that we wanted either, right? So I guess, one of the reasons we're not moving is because the houses are too expensive. And now you can give an insight. What's the insight, Ryan? Is Ryan gone? Oh, we lost Ryan. Nope, he's still here.
No, I'm here.
What's the insight we talked about yesterday around interest rates and going up and down and pricing?
Right. So do you believe that interest rates are going to be going down next year or up next year?
I definitely think next year it's going to be more affordable as far as interest rates go.
Okay. So if interest rates will become more affordable, what happens to pricing?
I don't know. What do you mean? I guess houses become more affordable if interest rates go down, right?
Well, if interest rates go down, what does that mean for more buyers?
They can afford a house.
Right. So, and if more buyers can afford a house, what do you think houses are going to have?
I don't know.
Competition, right? More competition.
Oh, like, yeah, I guess I never thought of that. So what are you saying?
So, don't you think you would have a better chance at getting a home with less competition rather than more competition?
I mean, I guess we never really had that conversation.
Right. So, and from here, what I would do is I'd go right into the game plan.
That's exactly where you'd go. And the crowd goes wild. Crowd goes wild.
Yeah, I'm eating a sandwich. That's why my face is.
Ryan, you're always eating on my calls, bro. I'm going to start naming you Aldo. Aldo's is a sales guy on my team. He's always eating on these calls. I'm like, do you ever? And he's got like no body fat. I'm like, bro, I hate you. He eats like rice. And I'm like, dude, if I eat rice, I'm like bloated for a week. Can't eat sushi anymore. Get bloated. I know. He's like, bro, just eat like me. And I'm like, shut up. You're like 20 years younger than me. I gotta.
Well, to my credit, I am eating very healthy bread with this turkey right now.
There is no such thing as healthy bread. Stop believing the lies that they've told you, bro. Do you really want to? Do you really want me to have the discussion from an ice bath with you in a hyperbaric chamber and doing ozone therapy? Like, do we really want to get into this fucking conversation, you guys? I promise you'll lose. I just call my dad up. I'd be like, hey, Dad, is there anything such as healthy bread? He'd be like, my dad's a wellness doctor that does anti-aging specialist for the last 30 years. You don't want to play this game. I only talk about things that I can win. I promise you. I only talk about things I can win. Just throw the wheat away, throw the salad away, go ahead and throw the processed meat away. You probably just go eat raw cow. We found that most people decided not to move because they either didn't find a suitable home or their agent failed to get them a suitable offer. Does that resonate? Yeah, tell me more about that. You're in their head the whole time. They're like, oh my God, this is such a great conversation. What was your agent do to help you find the buyers who could afford your home, right? Not just bring you an offer, but could afford your home. What was his strategy? What was her strategy outside of the MLS and open houses? Like, how are they marketing to buyers who are not actively searching? I don't know, right? Do you guys see how we're leading them to questions that they can't answer? Like, they can't answer this question. The agents can't answer the question. Some of you guys can't answer this question. Well, we're not. Well, you should, because the market's slow. So you should be figuring out how to do that. When you originally listed the home, was it your intention to test the market or was it to get to somewhere else? When you guys originally thought about moving, actually, that's a better line. When you guys originally thought about moving, was it your intention to just kind of like test the market for the last 2 or 3 months? It's been 6 months. 6 months? Oh, or was it to get somewhere else? Well, no, we wanted X, Y, and Z. How come? Tell me more. What's important about that? How would that be different than where you're currently at? You guys catching what I'm putting down here? Probe and clarify. Did they share the 3 pricing strategies that are available to you as a seller, or was it just like, let's look at comparables and then ask you what kind of what you wanted type of conversation? Then you're going to hit them with the game plan, right? So now you offer the opportunity, like Ryan said, now is where you offer the opportunity to work together to solve the problem. But you don't say, hey, can I come over here and show you how I sell your house? No, you have to game plan frame them, right? We don't have time to go into the game plan fully on this, but we can work on it. But game plan's always the same. You use their overarching goal, right? Did anybody sit down to actually share with you what it takes to get your home sold in a market like this? No. Could be a little problematic, I guess, if you guys still wanted to move to Nantucket. Do you guys still want to move to Nantucket, or do you guys just give up on that dream? No, we still want to get there. Okay, well, let's do this if you're not opposed as a possible next step. Why don't we put some time aside on our calendars, and we can go over what we do to help clients like you figure out why their house didn't sell, and if it even makes sense for you guys to keep it or move or rent it or whatever you need to do. Would you find that helpful if we could do that? Oh my God, that'd be great. How come? Well, because we still want to get to Nantucket. Why? Do you see how we can keep opening the door if we need to lock them in? Ryan, that's something that you should work on, is locking that back door, because you might be getting an appointment, but you didn't get enough at the top. Yeah. Would you find that helpful? Yeah, we would. How come? Tell me more. Okay. Expireds are frustrated, but they're also the closest to saying yes. If you know how to speak to their pain, lead the conversation, and solve what the last agent did, you'll dominate your market. It's just the truth. Your cookie cutter skills and your cookie presentation isn't going to cut it. Sorry, y'all. It's not cookie dough. It's not Hearts and Valentine's cookie dough. Okay. So if you're not upgrading all of those pieces of the pie, right, you're going to have a half-baked pie, and that shit ain't going to taste good. Cause I like my crust, on that apple pie with the crumble on top that makes me like 10 pounds heavier. I like that kind of crispy with some warm, nice and warm. And then you got the vanilla ice cream right next to so delicious. If you're a guest and you want help, you can click the link and book in a time with somebody on our team, and they can help see if we're a good fit for you. For those of you guys that are here, what are some of your takeaways? What are some of your takeaways? Who here sees how much more fun it is to call using this style than it is to use like the other styles? I don't think you need to. You want to. You want to get a treat. You don't need to get a treat. You want to get a treat. It's a feeling that you have, but you can control it. I promise you. What are some of your takeaways? Need to ask better questions for engagement instead of statements. Yes. Turn the statements to questions. Beautiful. Super powerful. Great one. That's a beautiful one. You probably need to watch it 2 or 3 more times. Dare to be different and not. Yes, Matthew, be different, bro. Paddle versus tennis. Let's go. Maybe you should go back to tennis now because paddle's taken over. I don't know. I need to get a hold of the expired listings. You guys, there's money in the expireds. I promise you. Let the other tell the person so they own it, not you. Amazing, Jill. Markowitz, bring in food, some good ideas. And would you find that helpful? Yes. How come? Yes. Probe, clarifying, tonality. Expireds are looking for certainty and hope, right? Clarity. They're looking for clarity, certainty, hope. Feel the pain that expireds go through. Y'all, trust you me. They are struggling right now to keep it together. They will tell you a whole bunch of stuff, but those are all smokescreen lies. Nobody puts their house on the market to test it for 4 to 6 months, maybe 30 days. But if it's after 30 days and they're still testing the market, they wanted something more and they didn't get it, and which is why they're testing. Show your expertise. Yes, Terry. Probe more. Yes, Kim. Y'all, I appreciate you for being here. This is one of my favorite topics. I wanted to kind of give you a different perspective, that a little bit deeper than what we normally do. So I hope you enjoyed it. I'll get you guys if you're a guest, you have to follow me on IG and you have to send me a message, and Instagram, Coach Vikram Deal, and then I'll send you the slide deck. If you guys are a client, this will be uploaded with the video, so you'll have it all there. So you don't have to like scroll through your pictures, Dennis, and try to find it. You could just copy and paste it. And let's go out and keep crushing it, you guys. I appreciate you for being here. Have an amazing, beautiful rest of the day. Oh, no, I did not. Hi, everybody on Instagram. Let's see. Do we have anybody watching on Instagram right now? Nobody. Oh, God. Oh, God. Nobody wants to hang out with me on Instagram. That sucks. Frank, my boy was my boy Frank was on. He's gone now. Hey, if y'all want help, message us if you're on YouTube. Just say you want help. If you're on Facebook or whatever, just put a message. Expireds. The team will send you a link, and we'll teach you guys how to get expireds. Cheers.